Oh, I think it's working. I think it's working. Oh my god. I think it's working. Okay. Seems like Twitch is up.
Victory.
Twitch, can you confirm that Twitch is up?
I can see the Gamers Inn logo.
Excellent. Perfect.
And I can hear myself.
Oh, how do the levels sound?
Give me 20 seconds. I think I'm louder than you. Yeah, I'm definitely louder than you.
Okay. I have turned you down. So say something. We are live, so say something appropriate.
I can't tell what you is talking to me right now. So I'll just talk. Yeah, the dude is louder than the dudette.
Thanks, Azax.
Nailed it. Man, it's so confusing.
I know, right?
All right, I've muted the stream, so
Okay.
so
I
it's all
turned
on you
myself
guys.
up a little bit, so.
I'll just talk quieter.
What? Chat room can't hear me? You don't have to talk quieter. That's crazy. Oh, I'm really faint. Okay.
Yeah, you should drink more water.
Ha ha ha.
Ha, ha, ha.
Oh, maybe let me check. Actual microphone gainy bits. How's that, chat room? Is that better? I'm just whispers.
All right, so if we compare your voice to mine without me moving, hopefully it sounds better.
Okay, so it looks like chat room saying that looks better. Wow, guys, don't upgrade to Windows 10. Spoiler alert.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're all ready then? All right, so episode 179 of The Gamers Inn records very late but very live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Gamers Inn. Oh no! Looping files, bad. Welcome to the Gamers Inn. Come on in, pull up a chair next to the fire. Looks like you've had a long journey. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and joining me this week in place of my normal co-host, Ryan, is Matt Kearney. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Excellent. So Matt and I actually both just got back from cons. I just got back from Nerdtacular. Matt got back from GenCon. So this week we're going to do something a little bit different on Gamers Inn. We don't have a whole lot of actual video gaming news, although there was a whole crap ton of Hearthstone news that was released today at GamesCom. So I will be talking about that a little later. But most of the stuff we're actually going to talk about is going to be board game related. What? Exciting
Board games are
times. Board games are awesome.
It's still gaming.
It is still gaming. It's totally gaming. And I had so much fun at Nerdtacular playing a specific title. But we're not going to get into that right away. First of all, I just wanted to remind everybody that Alpha Geek Radio has a Indiegogo, not account, campaign going on right now. I think they have about 14 or 16 days left. I can't remember. Anyways, Alpha Geek is the one who normally provides our mobile audio stream and also did a whole bunch of work providing the audio stream and the video stream for live events such as Nerdtacular. So they were the reason that you got to listen to a live Gamers Inn at Nerdtacular as well as a live Angry Chicken. So If you can, throw a couple dollars their way. The site to get to their Indiegogo is tinyurl.com/alphageekupgrade. They're looking to upgrade some of their equipment, and more upgraded equipment means better audio quality for you for all of your favorite Frog Pants shows. So yeah, speaking of Nerdtacular and awesome live shows, we did a live Gamers In only 3-4 days ago, I guess. It was a blast. It was awesome. I got a present from Joce live on air, which was a super sweet Majora's Mask Collector's Edition. So now I have the little Skull Kid figure, which is so awesome. I also got, actually, I can show you guys because it's right here on my desk. It's really heavy. I got a marble carved Hearthstone thingy, which is just like the coolest of all cool things. So
That thing was awesome.
I know, it's so cool. And I know you can't see it right now, but I showed you last night, I think. And it's from James McInnes, and he carves marble for a living because that's a job, apparently. Super cool. And so he made Garrett and I Hearthstones, and he made Scott Johnson a Horde symbol, and they look so cool. So yeah, Nerdtacular was awesome. The live episode was great. I'm pretty sure that it should be live in the Gamers In feed now. If it's not, you can definitely find it over on Alpha Geek. But what I got to do in Nerdtacular was play the Contender, which I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but it is Justin Robert Young's first attempt at I was going to call it a board game, but it's not actually a board game. It's a card game. It's very much like Cards Against Humanity, except they've kind of flipped it. So instead of having the blanks on the question card, the blanks are on your answer card, and you fill in the blanks with whatever the political topic is. So it's essentially like a political debate. It's actually really, really, really fun. I prefer it to Cards Against Humanity. And I mean, Matt, you know how much fun we had playing Cards Against Humanity last week.
That's a bold statement.
I know, right?
Wow.
Oh, and chat room is telling me the Nerdtacular episode isn't up yet. So that's probably because Ryan is currently on a plane on the way home from Nerdtacular right now. So
Such a slacker.
oh my God, he's the worst.
Really. Come on, Ryan.
So yeah, I got my hands on the Contender, and basically what you do is you have the main person, or it kind of plays down the topic, and then you go around the circle, and instead of just playing one card like you do in Cards Against Humanity, you can choose if you want to play 1, 2, or 3 cards, and you keep going around the table till everybody's played 3 cards. So if you have like a really strong, really funny, really good statement to make with all 3 of your cards right off the bat, you can do that. Or you can play a different card and kind of wait and use your other 2 cards to counter somebody else's argument. And they're all like based on American politics, and they're statements made by real politicians. It's hilarious. It is like the funniest game I've ever played.
So where can we get our hands on this to play it?
Well, right now it's still in beta, so they have a Kickstarter going, and I don't have the link, which is terrible. Hang on. Kickstarter, best ever radio. So they have a Kickstarter going on right now, and they actually funded the first day. I think it went live on, I believe, Saturday. So, let's see. They are, oh my God, they're over 200% funded.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it. That's incredible. So if you'd like to back it, I'm putting the link in the chat room right now, but you can follow them on Twitter. I think it's at the Contender. This is terrible. I totally should have paid more attention to like how to pimp them properly. Anyways, you can back it for like 20 or 25 bucks, gets you a copy of the game. So really affordable, super, super fun. The deck that I played had 100 cards in it, and even then, like, I thought it would get a little bit repetitive because we had, I guess, 9 people around a table playing. So with 100 cards, and you get dealt 5 or 6, I can't remember, 5 I think. So it would seem like that would get really repetitive, but it doesn't. It's actually awesome because you can always play the cards in so many different combinations and have so many different arguments, and having one topic about one thing and then using the same card but on a different topic. Like, it's just freaking hilarious.
That's pretty cool.
I know.
And I saw their website is thecontender.us.
Ah, there you
So
go.
people can check them out there as well. And I don't know if you have an answer to Azax's question. It's a pretty good one.
Azax, I am not answering that question. But really, I mean, when I played it at Nerdtacular, I was lucky enough to be sitting at the table with Ashley, who's actually Justin Robert Young's fiance, as well as Patrick Beja from France, and Garrett was playing with us as well, of the Americas. So just the personalities around the table, like, it's all about delivery in this game. At first I kind of heard like, oh, political debate, that sounds a little bit like lame. But like, people got really, really into it and really, really invested, and were just like going at each other with cards across the table and being like, no, you, sir, are a liar. Well, aren't you a smarty pants? And like, it was just really, 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 really fun. So I think everyone, you guys should go back it, help them hit stretch goals, help them make more cards. And yeah, the Contender, better than Cards Against Humanity, even without that card that Azax mentioned.
I'll have to check it out myself.
You should.
I hadn't heard about it before this weekend, so I think it was some good exposure through you guys. And,
Yeah, I don't think that anybody actually had, because they kept it pretty close to the vest before they launched the Kickstarter. So all of the hype has kind of started up in the last couple of days. So, but yeah, you guys should really check it out. I'm gonna put the link in the chat room again. Booyah!
just in case.
Just in case. So before we get into all of the Gamescom news, Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you got up to at GenCon? Because I know we talked a little bit about, well, I mean, I guess a lot about D&D before you went away, because you were showing me all the stuff that you used to DM.
Yeah.
So what was it like experiencing a whole bunch of different people DMing for you?
So it actually that's not actually how it works. So I didn't totally know before I went what I had signed up for. So anyways, so everyone knows, I went to GenCon in Indianapolis. Massive tabletop board games, card games, just any type of gaming, and they did have some video game stuff set up there as well too. But what I had signed up for, because I'm not a big Magic the Gathering player, I didn't want to sign up for big tournaments. There's a board game called Legendary. They had a $10,000 tournament for that. All kinds of really, really big events, but not stuff that I was too familiar with that I wanted to try to compete in. So I just wanted to go sign up for some random games to try, play new games that hadn't even been released yet. But a big part of my weekend was actually Dungeons and Dragons. So I had signed up for what was called the All Access Pass. All throughout the weekend, they were doing little 4-hour sessions of a different, almost like a different campaign setting each time. And they actually altogether created a continuous story that your adventurers could go on. But by default, the basic little package of just signing up for each of the 4-hour settings, you would keep your character and you would hop from one table to another one and end up with a different group every time. You'd also be playing with 6 other people, which is quite a bit for a single D&D session, because you have to not only go through everyone's turns around the table in combat, you have to also share magic items and things like that, and loot that you might find. But anyways, what I had done is I did the All Access Pass. The All Access Pass sounded a lot more enticing to me. It said...
Well, yeah, because it's all the access.
Yeah, exactly. So what they had said, though, is that you actually get to sit down with the exact same adventuring party for the whole weekend. So it was 4-hour sessions, so lots of D&D for a single weekend. Yeah. And
well, how long, just for people who aren't really familiar with D&D, like how long, if you were to sit down with a group of friends and play a session, how long are we talking? Would it be a 4-hour session, or would it be shorter?
It depends on how addicted to the game your friends can get. So our group with Ryan and a few other friends, the first time we played, we probably played for almost 14 hours in.
Oh my God.
Like we just sat down and played so much. So tons of just diving into D&D. But for this, we had these little 4-hour sessions, and each one you're sitting in this massive hall, and there's hundreds of tables just of people playing D&D. So it was a massive collection of all these awesome nerdy people that just wanted to play some pen and paper and imaginary games. But what I didn't realize when I signed up for this thing was how legitimate and official D&D at cons or at any kind of event really is. So I had seen that there were all these tiny little 4-hour slots that you could hop into. And what I didn't realize was that they expect you to actually have an existing registered character who is officially a part of the D&D Adventurers League. And I just didn't
That
know it
sounds
existed.
so cool and super official.
Yeah, so what they actually do is for per person, they'll give you a registration number that it's like your D&D account. And then you can actually assign characters to that account and you can take those characters with you to different events. I showed up thinking, okay, well, most of the D&D stuff that I've done with my friends, we always get like through up to level 5 and then either people get bored of it or we run out of time or we just can't connect anymore. So I didn't want to do the 1 to 5 stuff, but there was a mid-tier all access that was recommended for levels 5 to 10. So I said, okay, great. So I'm going to show up. They're going to give me a pre-made character. I'm going to take this pre-made character, pretend I know a backstory for it, and then just roleplay, just go from there. So I showed up with nothing, and I'm standing in this line of all these other very, very hardcore, very official D&D players that all have their characters ready to go. Some of them are cosplaying as their characters.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And I'm standing there like just a fish out of water. I have no idea what's going on. So the guy in front of me starts asking me about my character. And I was like, oh, I don't really know yet. I'm just ready to dive in. Let's do this. And he was like, oh no.
Did he
I'm
just
gonna
yell noob at you and then run away because he didn't want to be associated with you anymore?
Actually, no. He was one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He helped me talk to the official referee, if you will, the guy running the whole D&D event. And he brought me over there and he was like, hey, we'll take this guy in. We've got a decent group already of some friends that they've been at different cons for. He's like, okay, so you don't have a character? You don't have anything? I was like, nope. I had no idea. So anyways, he's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Because I paid an exorbitant amount of money for this all access pass, he's like, okay, well, we're not just going to force you to go do the level 1 boring crap because you paid to experience this one. So you're going to go to the table, grab a pre-made level 1 character, and then you're going to bump it up to level 5, which you're not supposed to do normally. And after that, or after this weekend, your character doesn't exist anymore. It's not allowed to exist. So I broke a bunch of rules. I leveled them up instantly, added some basic equipment and stuff, and was ready to play. So I got in onto a really awesome table with 5 other people. So that was another thing with the all access pass. You got a smaller table, a little bit more D&D intimate, I guess. A little bit better for sharing magic items. And the best part about it is that they knew that I didn't matter. So they were more than happy. They were more than happy to have me at their table because I could be the first one in the room. I could be the one that always tried something that might kill somebody. I could be the person who, well, I know I was the person that didn't matter when it came to sharing magic items or divvying up the loot. So it was actually just a big bonus for them. I ended up playing a fighter who specialized in archery. So I kind of stayed a little bit out of the fight.
Wouldn't a fighter be like melee? Like I'm picturing like
Yeah,
warrior
no, you're right.
sword stuff, not
You're right.
archery.
So in D&D, every class, and the same way that you would expect in video games, is every class has their kind of like a tree, a skill tree of specialization or things that they can focus on. And a funny thing about D&D fighters is that the archery fighter is actually a better archer than the ranger.
That
Who
doesn't make any sense.
No, but the ranger has some spells and can do stuff with animals and other things like that.
Can
Yeah,
do
that
stuff
sounded
with
bad.
animals.
Yeah, no, it's real fancy. They got some sweet stuff.
Ah.
But yeah, so I played an archery focused fighter who also had a skill set called Battle Master. And the Battle Master can actually, on almost every one of his turns, can manipulate the party and help them take additional actions or move or reposition themselves. Or he can also affect the enemy in such a way that it benefits the party. So I was kind of like a controlling extra player that just made their party significantly better. So it was a lot of fun. We played, again, about 16 hours worth of D&D.
In
But the
2 days?
No. So this was, I think, on Thursday. So we showed up on Wednesday, got our badges, and got everything set up. Thursday, I had 2 4-hour sessions back to back. So 4 to 12, we played Thursday night, and then 1 4-hour session on Friday, and 1 more on Saturday.
Nerd.
But yeah, that's true.
Which is funny since I just came from a conference called Nerdtacular. But
Yeah, you were a VIP guest
yes.
at Nerdtacular.
It's okay. Yeah. We're all nerds here.
Yeah. This is a welcoming place, everyone.
Exactly. Safe place. So did you get your hands on anything super cool while you were at Gen Con that isn't out for everybody right now? Because I know you totally and completely failed me on one front. Apparently there was a playable Portal game that you did not try. So
yeah, I did not see that. So they had in the exhibition hall where they were selling all their games, all their loot, all their t-shirts and dice and all these things. It was massive, very overwhelming. And if you didn't go to every single booth or know exactly what you're looking for, you're just kind of surrounded by shiny things everywhere, which wasn't a bad thing. I got some really cool stuff. I got that shiny box right there. Yep. So I got a game called Arcadia Quest, which is a really neat cooperative and eventual PvP style game where you are a bunch of heroes trying to get through a dungeon. They had the most adorable miniatures I've ever seen, and that's actually what drew me to the game before I even knew what it was like. So I really like that one. I got a game called Boss Monster 2. Really cool retro art, looks just like some old Nintendo games. So that is, again, what drew me to that one before I even knew what the game was like. Looked it up, found out how cool it is. You actually are the bad guys building a dungeon for a hero to try to survive through. And then if you beat the hero, you get XP and loot and stuff like that.
So who plays the hero? Can like one person set it up? Is it like very like Evolve like?
No, not quite. No. Oh. So the way that it works is it's a card game completely. So you set up your cards and then you draw a card from the hero deck. And that hero will have different abilities or is drawn to specific things. So if I have a bunch of gold in my dungeon and nobody else has gold in their dungeon, then a thief who's specifically looking for gold will go to my dungeon first. And then hopefully the cards that I've built for him will take him out before he gets to the end. It's kind of neat. I actually haven't played it very much yet at all. I need more people around here. Who lives in Waterloo? Anybody? Just come play cards with me. It'll be fun. Another really cool game. This one I would recommend for just about anybody. This is called The Duke, and it is a Catalyst game. It's essentially fancy chess.
I like chess and I like fancy things, so I'm pretty sure that game is perfect.
Yeah, so it's really neat. It plays like chess. It's just a one-on-one style game, and what you do with that is you are given a tile. Oh
my god, I think we actually have someone in the chat room who's from Kitchener.
I see Kitchener. That's pretty sweet. I technically live in Kitchener, but I always say Waterloo just in case.
Just, to have a couple less stalkers.
If he's from Kitchener, he knows. He gets it. So, anyways, I probably won't find the Duke himself. Oh my god, I did! All right, so here's the Duke.
What are the chances?
So, you put these tiles, and there are different sides on them. You put them on the board, and when you move your tile in its designated movement pattern, so like here's an example. This is the footman. The footman can step forward, left, right, or backwards. And then once you move that guy, you flip him over, and now he's got a new movement pattern. Okay. And because every single time you move him, the movement pattern changes. If you don't know how all of the different pieces interact, you can get yourself into this really... I just made a mess. You can get yourself into a really sticky situation where you actually didn't expect to see a move come. Whereas in chess, every single person knows how every single piece moves right off the bat, because it's very, very, very restricted to their original patterns. But this one is a little more dynamic because of the way that it just keeps changing. It's really neat. I've enjoyed it. We played almost every night after we got back to the hotel. I went down with my stepbrother Kirk and his friend Dane. So if you hear those names again, that's who I'm talking about. But yeah, we would play the Duke for probably an hour or two after we got back to the hotel, which wasn't until close to midnight or 1 or 2 a.m. every night. We've had some really long days there, but it was a really good time.
Sounds like fun. So I know you actually did do, because spoilers, guys, I've heard all about this, but I know you did do something that actually was like video game related while you were there, and it's actually going to lead really well into GamesCom because we're going to get back into the whole realm of video games thing. So tell me about the super competitive thing that you did enter when you were at GenCon.
So I'm a huge fan of Smash Bros. When
Brothers,
the
can we
new
please say brothers? I've had this fight with Ryan.
so chat room, I'm a huge fan of Smash Bros. And you can just ignore whatever Jocelyn says. It's not important. So anyways, as soon as the new one came out for the Wii U, I bought a Wii U. I bought 4 GameCube controllers without the GameCube adapter because I couldn't get it anywhere. So I couldn't even use those controllers. So because of that, I went and bought 4 Pro controllers. So I spent all kinds of money just to play Smash Bros. So I was super excited.
Brothers.
Super Smash Bros. So anyways, I was really excited when my stepbrother said, "Hey, you want to go to Gen Con?" I was like, "I don't know what that is." He's like, "Oh, you could probably play Smash there." I was like, "Sweet, I'm in." So there was a single tournament that you could pre-register for on Sunday morning, which was the last day of the con. And I signed up, and there wasn't a whole lot of detail. They just said it was going to be, it was going to host 64 people. So a pretty large tree for a tournament. And thanks, Jim.
See, okay, I think we should just mention the chat room is 100% on my side here. So you should just give it up and call it Smash Brothers.
So my stepbro told me that I could play Smash Bros. So I was all excited. I signed up for the tournament. Sunday morning rolls around. We show up, and I'm expecting a one-on-one tournament of a massive 64-person tree. And we're sitting there waiting. It takes a while to sign up. Everybody is just really slowly queuing in. There definitely wasn't 64 people there, and there was only 2 screens set up with Smash Bros on it at the time. So my brother and I were looking at each other. We're like, okay, I'm not really sure how this is going to work or how they actually expect this to finish in 2 hours like they scheduled it for. So anyways, we are sitting there waiting, and this frumpy little woman who probably has never played the game before comes up with a microphone, turns off one of the screens, and says, "Okay, we're going to only play it on this screen over here, and we're going to start with an 8-man free-for-all to get rid of a bunch of people." So we look at each other again. We're like, "Are you kidding me? 8-man free-for-all takes out all the skill," because if you've ever played Smash Bros, then you would know that
I'm so raging right now.
then you would know that in Smash Bros, what you want to do is actually use your abilities to fight somebody without being attacked from 7 other angles. So anyways, we were a little bit frustrated, and he made it through the first round. I made it through the first round. And then in the next round, they said, okay, then we're going to do a 4-man free-for-all. The top 2 are going to progress. And we're like, okay, well, I guess it's a little bit better. We'll get to that one-on-ones hopefully soon. And then he ended up in a fight with 2 people that went to the con together. I think they were brothers. Or I think they were bros. My bad. So he's in a fight where they're teaming up on him, and it's almost impossible for him to win. So he gets knocked out of that stage. I make it through the round of 4, and then I'm thinking, okay, I made it. This stupidity is behind us. Let's now go on to 1v1. And Miss Frumpy walks up with her microphone again, and she says, okay, so we still have some weird numbers, so I'm going to need these 5 people to sit down, and then top 2 are going to progress. And I'm just shaking my head because I'm like, oh, let me just go home, please. This is ridiculous. So I sit down for the 5-man free-for-all, And it turns out those 4 people made some kind of an agreement, and it was me versus 4 people. They weren't attacking each other at all. I was Mario and just bouncing around the screen, getting my ass handed to me.
It's
So
probably because they heard you call it Smash Bros. And they went, okay, that's it. We need to take this guy out.
that's possible because they were wrong and didn't realize that it's actually called Smash Bros. So it's understandable. I mean, clearly it happens. I don't hold any grudges.
Ah, I see.
But yeah, it was pretty brutal. But in my defense, it was 4v1. Everybody had 2 stocks, and I killed 2 of them. So I was pretty happy.
And you should be. I mean, that's still anytime you get into a place where you're at a convention and you're doing some sort of a competitive anything, winning is just, it's so awesome because you are with the most hardcore of the hardcores because they're actually like leaving their homes and going to these things and playing. I know, like, when I won Hearthstone games at Nerdtacular, I was just like, haha, because it was usually about like half the time I just got my ass kicked. I was like, holy crap, guys, like, you're good. Why are you listening to me talk? But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And so good on you for getting as far as you did.
It was frustrating, but we also brought a Wii U with us so that in the van while we were driving down, one person was up in the front driving while the other 2 people without a screen were just propping up the gamepad, which has its own little tiny screen, and playing with GameCube controllers in the back of the van. So it was we got a lot of smashing over the weekend. It was
That's
good.
good. So what's actually happening right now, guys, like literally like right now, actually they're probably sleeping, but today we had GamesCom and it was actually yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I'm not actually sure how long it runs, but tomorrow we get the super awesome Blizzard WoW announcement. So we're going to find out what our next expansion is. But what we know so far, and I am very heavy on the Blizzard news, guys. I'm kind of sorry, kind of not, but that's really what I've been paying attention to. There has been a lot of news. There's some backwards compatibility stuff with Xbox that's really cool. I don't actually know what Sony has talked about, if they have talked yet, but I haven't seen a lot of that stuff. I saw a lot of Xbox news from, I think, yesterday, but anyways, from Blizzard, we have that Legacy of the Void, which is the much anticipated third installment to StarCraft 2, is releasing in 2015. Not 2016, 2015. So sometime in the next few months, we are going to have our hands on Legacy of the Void. Matt, are you a StarCraft person?
I like to think that I could be, but no. I tried playing StarCraft 2 and I was all super excited with my buddies when it came out, and we would do some comp stomps and we'd have a lot of fun just, teamwork, working together against terrible AI. And I played through the story. The story was great. I love the single player campaign. That's definitely a good part of it for me. But then online, no. I'm not an RTS player.
And
I
that's
can't,
fine because
can't
I
do it.
mean, the thing about StarCraft 2 is it has such a great story that I tell everybody that they should at least play through the single player, even if they put it on super duper easy mode. I think 2012 or 2013, when we did Game of the Year, I gave Heart of the Swarm my story Game of the Year, or possibly my entire Game of the Year. I can't remember. Anyways, it rated really, really highly because, like, I mean, there were parts in Heart of the Swarm where, I mean, I was crying. It was emotional. There was such deep story that you wouldn't necessarily expect out of an RTS. I mean, like, the whole point is to just go in and wreck face and get out. So, I'm always impressed with Blizzard storytelling, but I think the StarCraft is just their best universe, which, coming from a WoW player and a Hearthstone lover, that's probably a little surprising. But for me, I can't wait to see how they're going to wrap up this whole entire story. And I love Protoss. I'm a Terran player just because I find Terran the most relatable, I guess. Protoss is a little bit harder to wrap your head around. I always want to play them, but I can never kind of get competitive with Protoss. So I'm hoping that that'll change with Legacy of the Void because, you play each expansion or I guess they're not really expansions. They're like chapters in the game because they're all the same size. It's not like StarCraft 2 was huge and then these are little chunks of content. Like they're definitely 1/3 of the story. And yeah, I never really got good at Zerg in Heart of the Swarm, though, but I'm hoping I'll get good at Protoss and Legacy of the Void. I'm so sad that you don't play. then we
maybe
can
I'll
practice.
play. Maybe I'll play some more. We'll see.
But yeah, everyone should do the single player campaign. And I'm sure when Legacy of the Void releases, they'll have some sort of cool, awesome, super amazing collector's edition that will probably include the first two, Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. Hopefully, cross your fingers. Another announcement that we had today from the company that I love because of my crazy love of Smite, High Res is making a game called Paladins, which is really kind of channeling the whole TF2 thing. A lot like Overwatch, which I know everyone's going to say, TF2 came before Overwatch, but they're in the same genre now, people. Just get used to it. So Paladins is the same sort of idea. It's like a team shoot 'em up first person shooter type thing, except you have what's essentially like skills, but cards. So you have to basically like make a deck. It's not a card game like Hearthstone, but you make a deck of skills and then that augments your character in certain ways. So you have to kind of build your skill set and then go into battle, and you build your skill set using cards. So kind of cool, kind of different. I'm obviously looking forward to it because, awesome, amazing smiteness. I'm going to at least try it. What about you? Were you a TF2 player at all, Matt? I never got into it.
No, not really. No, wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah. I never got into it because by the time I started playing, because I've talked before on the show about how I used to just strictly single player games. That's it. Didn't do anything online. By the time I got into a comfy nerd place and had a lot of comfy nerd gaming friends, it was TF2 had happened. It was not necessarily over because I know there's still a lot of people playing now, but definitely past its like heyday. And I had the same problem with that I did with WoW and everything else that I tried to get into that was multiplayer. Everyone else was way, way far ahead of me. So TF2 was just one I kind of looked at and went, meh. Oh, and Jim is correcting me in the chat room. He is saying Paladins, Overwatch, and Battleborn are far closer to each other than TF2. It's a disservice to compare them too much to TF2. So I'm not sure if he's saying that we are insulting Overwatch and Paladins or if we're insulting TF2, but one way or the other, Jim does not like the comparison.
There's some insults in there somewhere.
Yeah, someone is very upset by me comparing them all together. But yeah, so there's lots of really cool stuff that's being announced at GamesCom, and I am going to jump right into the Hearthstone news because obviously this is what I want to talk about. This is the biggest news to me. We got more information about the Grand Tournament, which is launching sometime this month. We still don't have a launch date, which is upsetting. I thought we might get it today at Gamescom, but we didn't. What we did get is a new mechanic and ladder rewards. So the new mechanic is called Joust, but it's not actually a keyword on cards. So when they announced Inspire with the original tournament announcement that they did in San Francisco, Inspire was actually a keyword that's written on cards. So Inspire means anytime you use your hero power, an effect happens. And so whatever the effect is spelled out on the card. For Joust, instead of saying Joust and the effect happens, it says when you play this minion, something along the lines of draw a card from your deck, or draw a minion from your deck and draw a minion from your opponent's deck, and then whoever's card has a higher mana cost wins. If that's your card, your minion gets the buff, essentially. So it's a little bit complicated. It's like a competition within a competition sort of thing. I think they didn't give it a keyword because it's only going to come into play on these few minions from this one expansion. I think that next expansion and going forward, we're going to see more Inspire cards, but I don't think we're going to see any more Joust cards. So it's kind of interesting. It's yet another tool in the Hearthstone deck where they're kind of pushing people to a more slower, control-oriented kind of a meta. Because obviously, if you have Joust cards, you want to have a lot of high mana minion cards so that you can win Joust and then buff your characters. Because some of the buffs are crazy. I mean, like, there's one that's a 5/6 for 5, I think. And if you win the Joust, you get Taunt on it and Divine Shield. Like, it's crazy. Wow. Like, they're really, really powerful if you can get the Joust buff to work. But I don't know. I'm not sold on it. Garrett and I were talking about it earlier. And essentially, because you're still always going to want to have a curve, you're just by the way the game works, you're going to need a bunch of 2 and 3 drop minions just because you want to make sure that you have a play on turn 1, 2, and 3. So you have to load your deck with low cost minions unless everyone is just not playing minions until turn 4, 5, 6, which is not going to happen. So it's interesting. It's kind of a cool, fun, fits the tournament motif kind of a thing, but I don't think it's going to get much competitive play. And Matt, you're not a big Hearthstone player, right?
So I used to play Hearthstone every month, I think, before Goblins and Gnomes. I don't even know the name of it. Yeah, shows you how much.
Huge Hearthstone fan, basically.
Primo. So no, I did play quite a bit, but just a bit of ladder play, just to get the next card back, kind of thing. I never really pushed for legendary. I don't think I was ever that hardcore about it.
It's actually push for legend. Cards are legendary. People are legends.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're the expert in this one. You clearly have me beat here. But no, I didn't play a whole lot of Hearthstone. But I'm excited. I want to see more changes. I think it could be good. It could ruin it. Who knows?
I was going to say,
I'm sure they know what they're doing. But.
As somebody who's not a huge Hearthstone player who only played up to level 20 every month to get the card back, as I'm talking about this stuff, as I'm talking about, Inspire and Joust and another 130 cards, is that something that makes you go, oh, cool, like new mechanics, I'm going to get back in? Or is that like, holy crap, overwhelming WTF?
Kind of a combo of both, I think. I'm definitely curious to see how it works and see if it's something that would be more enticing to me. But at the same time, as soon as those first expansions started coming out, it was a little overwhelming. It's like, okay, well, I understood how I could build a deck around all these original cards, and then you throw all these new mechanics or new things at me. And I did play a little bit after that, but yeah, it did get a little overwhelming for a rookie like myself who doesn't really know all of the different meta behind the different styles of cards, or even the different characters, right? And understanding different matchups that actually matter or make an impact when you're trying to be more competitive, which I'm usually really competitive in every game that I play. So it was pretty interesting that I went as casually as I did into this game.
There's a lot of people who take Hearthstone really casually, and I think a lot of that has to do and leads right into their next announcement, really. It has a lot to do with the ladder, I think. And so today, which everyone was really, really excited when they announced this, because it's something that we've been asking for a while, and that's some sort of a reward for playing ladder. So anytime you play arena, you get some dust, you get some gold, you get a pack, like depending on how well you do, and the higher your rank in arena, then the better your rewards. But there's never been anything like that for playing on ladder. You get your card back at the end of every month, but obviously you're getting your gold for your 3 wins, but it hasn't been that rewarding. It's a really big grind. So what they've done is to incentivize people to not just hit a certain rank and then stop. They're giving you a reward every month that's going to be very similar to arena, in that it's going to give you dust, the card back, assuming you hit level 20, as well as what we've seen is 1 to 3 golden cards. I think the golden cards are completely random. I don't think that if you make it to level rank 2 during the course of the season that you're going to get legendary goldens. I think it's all just you open random golds. But if you're say rank 19, you might get 1 gold card. If you're rank 5, you might get 3 gold cards. So it's more rewarding. It's cool. Obviously, I like the shinies, and we've been asking for rewards for ladder. It's also key to note that if I hit rank 2 and then I fall back down to 8, I still get the chest for hitting rank 2. So it doesn't kind of go by where you end the season. It goes by your highest point during the season. So it's a little bit more incentive for people to get in, keep playing, even if you drop, because of the whole losing stars at that rank thing. But I don't like, not that I don't like ladder rewards. I don't like ladder, and seeing them put ladder rewards in, but not touch the way that ladder works really made me a little bit kind of angry today. So basically, yeah. The way that ladder works, and anyone who plays Hearthstone knows, once you pass rank 20, every time you win, you gain a star. Every time you lose a star. So you have to play. I mean, pros have win rates that are in and around 60%, give or take. You have to have a win rate over 50% to move up on the ladder, because obviously, if you're at 50%, you're winning one game, you're losing one game, so you're gaining a star and you're losing a star. So you need to be better than 50%. Pros are in and around 60. Sometimes at low ranks, you can get decks that win like 75% of the time. But again, that's usually at low ranks. So if you're really good with a deck, then you're more likely to win. But in general, a win rate of like 60, 65 is extraordinarily good. What that means is if you're a pro, if you're a legend player, and you start the season at rank 16, which is the highest you can get, then you still have to play somewhere between 200 and 300 games just to get to legend rank, which is ridiculous. It is like so grindy and such a time sink. So, and I had a couple of conversations on Twitter today and on Reddit that got a little bit heated. I don't want it to be easy to get to legend. I want the ranks to better reflect your skill as a player. A legend player does not belong at rank 16 at any time. So
Fair enough.
yeah, I won't get too far into it, because I'm sure we're gonna talk about it on Angry Chicken this week. But basically, ladder makes Jocelyn angry. I would really like to see them institute something like more like a better MMR, like more of a seeding. Like if you finish at legend one season, then, you know, maybe drop everybody to rank 1 or something. I don't know. But basically, I feel that it should be, if you're a rank 5 level player, you should play in rank 5. And then it should be really, really, really hard to go from rank 5 to rank 4, because the people in rank 4 should legitimately be better players than you. So it should be difficult to break into that next level of play. Right now, it's just a numbers game.
So you're thinking more along the lines of the StarCraft ladder system.
Yes, very much like the StarCraft ladder system. Exactly. So it should be a whole lot harder to both rank up and rank down. I would really like to see that in Hearthstone, because it feels like right now there's a lot of players with a lot of skill who just can't hit legend strictly because they don't have the time to play 300 games in a month. And the biggest problem with that isn't necessarily that you've got people that are, you know, not able to get legend because of time. It's just that when you're legend, it changes the game. The meta is different at that level of play. So if I want to try out new control-y kind of decks, I really, really can't, because I need to get to legend to do that. To get to legend, I have to play 300 games and I have to play a bunch of aggro. Then I finally get there and the season's over and they kick me back down to 16. You know, like it doesn't give you, like you have to complete all of your ladder matches to get to legend and still have time left over to enjoy the fact that you made it to this high level of play. Do you know what I mean? So,
I think the hard part though of how you could even institute a ladder like that is because I know with StarCraft they have all of the background stats of just how you're playing, not necessarily how you do. Right? They have your actions per minute. They have
which I still think actions per minute is kind of bullshit, because I can sit here and just click
definitely.
my mouse and it doesn't actually do anything. But look how fast I'm clicking. Oh my god, I should totally be a StarCraft pro.
Right, but you got that fancy number now.
Exactly.
It's a ridiculous value, right? But no, like it's hard to do that, I think, with Hearthstone, because in Hearthstone, the only things that they could rate you on maybe is how fast you play the best possible play per turn, right? Because
well, but see, it's turn based, so how fast you do it doesn't really matter.
No, I understand that, but I think that that's one of the only ways that they could really separate people into tiers, as opposed to, because you only have so many cards ahead of you. You only have so many cards in your opponent's hand and deck and on the screen that you can see. So there's definitely an algorithm out there that knows currently, without any other randomization, what the best possible play is going to be. So if they judged people on their ability to make the best possible play every time, without thinking about the randomization of what card might be drawn next, all those different things, which is what the pros are really doing, and they're playing for the entire game, not necessarily that exact hand or card. But if they could analyze that, then they could say, okay, well, this person is at least at this point in time making the best possible decision for everything they need to do. that would kind of separate that player from somebody who's just playing a card because it looks pretty or it's got the
I
biggest
never
numbers
do
at the
that.
time, right?
Definitely
But
don't make the choice of going, well, this one is animated.
right. But the problem with that is that someone like me who doesn't know a lot of these things might get pretty damn lucky and be playing all of the best cards in those situations, and that would group me in with some of the better players initially. I'm sure there's always a way to kind of wash that out, or fix those mistakes, as we'll call myself. But I don't know. I don't really know how they could implement that in such a way that it would make as much of a sense as the way that they can analyze players and actions and reactions in a much more active game that doesn't just give you 75 seconds to play your turn. And
So,
I don't know.
I mean, you mentioned that, you could just by chance pick the right play all the time. Do you really think that that's possible? Like, I mean, how lucky would you have to be to so consistently by chance pick the right play and get
Well,
grouped with the wrong skill level?
I'm just thinking of like at the start of each season or month or however they wanted to do it. There's like in StarCraft they have 5 placement rounds. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. So if I did extremely well in my 5 Hearthstone games, then where would it put me for the rest of the season, and how hard would it be for me to drop out of that or progress? Right? If we wanted to compare it directly to StarCraft, I don't know how they could actually analyze a player at the same level that they can there, because in that game there are so many more things happening at once, and the action per minute does actually kind of play into the fact that you're doing so many different things and maintaining your base and attacking and
Yeah.
micromanaging your units, whereas in Hearthstone your main focus every single turn is just to pick the best play for now and hopefully the next couple rounds.
I wonder if they could just say, like, after you've completed, like, basically make the pool of games larger. So yeah, StarCraft has, 5 rounds that you have to complete against other players to seed yourself. And I'm wondering if, like, I mean, those are longer games. Like you said, they're more complicated. They're able to grab more information from that play. I wonder if we had, like, say 25 games of Hearthstone. It's like once you've played your 25 games, then you'll get because I mean, at some point it becomes very, very, very extremely unlikely, to the point that, like, if one dude gets seated with the pros who belongs with level 25, well, probably won't get
Well,
that
yeah,
lucky next month.
like there's definitely a reason why I'm not at the pro tournaments by being randomly lucky in 5 matches in a row.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's obviously a major disconnect between the players who play with extreme strategy and have a very specific deck built around certain modes or certain mechanics to make use of all the cards that they have in their deck, whereas I might have built a deck that was kind of fun just because I like to pew pew a lot. I don't know. It
Who doesn't like pew pew?
exactly right. But I don't know. I do think that I like what it sounds like they're doing for you're getting your max level or lowest rank reward regardless of where you end up in the season. I think that that's progress.
That's interesting. It's nice that they're looking to reward players and get them playing ladder more often. I just kind of worry that if there's, and I guess, I hadn't really thought about playing placement matches the way that they do in StarCraft. I was thinking more the way Hearthstone works right now, with kind of like the automatic reseeding every season. So I was thinking if we automatically reseed every season, then, it becomes more and more difficult to automatically put people at higher ranks. Like if you say that legend people belong at rank 3, the rewards for being at rank 3 and not playing at all during the season, they're really big versus the rewards for hitting like rank 19, 20, whatever. So if we're automatically granting rewards for highest rank and you don't actually have to play, then I don't think we're going to see changes to seeding, and that makes me sad, because I really think that right now we don't have a ladder system that really showcases skill. Like, it just showcases time and ability to grind. And yes, you do have to have some skill because, like I mentioned, you have to have a better than 50% win rate. But even if you have like 50.000001 of a win rate and you literally play Hearthstone 24 hours a day, you can hit Legend, even if you like are playing against players that might have 65% win rate, which is a very, very big disparity in skill when you actually look at those two players. But then they're at the same rank on the ladder. And that to me is just wrong, fundamentally wrong with the ladder.
Fair enough.
Sorry. I know I said I wasn't going to get way into Hearthstone and I totally got way into Hearthstone. Sorry,
we're
guys.
only like, this is what, 2 minutes in now?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, totally. Can't even tell. Yeah. So yeah, we got Joust, we got ladder rewards. We also got 13 new cards, which I am not going to talk about right now. But there were 13 new cards released, as well as I believe 2 legendaries that were released just on Twitter. So there's lots going on. We've seen, I believe, 54 of the cards out of the collection. So the collection's going to be 132. So we're about halfway there. I think we'll probably see an August 18th release date, I think. Crossing my fingers.
Me too.
It's going to be sometime in August, but I really hope that it's sooner rather than later. I think that pretty much does it for us tonight. I mean, the only other thing that we've been playing that I swear to God we've talked about every single day, every single Gamers In episode is
Rocket League.
So... as we talked about him at Nerdtacular, this is the Kearney who we play with.
I totally didn't steal that, by the way.
Yeah.
That was just showing up randomly in my closet.
What are the chances?
Yeah.
But anyways, he's the man. He is the super awesome Rocket League player that we all aspire to be. So, do you have any like tips, tricks, insight into how to be better at this game that we've been talking about incessantly?
So one thing that I see, and I've watched a lot of different Rocket League streams, either while I'm playing or when I'm not playing and I'm sad that I'm not playing, so I watch it instead.
Wait, when we're playing Rocket League, you're watching Rocket League too?
Maybe.
Oh man. You know, I've talked to some Hearthstone pros and they do the same thing. Like they'll be playing their ladder matches while they're watching other people play. And I'm like, how do you keep that straight in your head? Like I can maybe understand like playing Rocket League and watching Hearthstone or vice versa, but I do not understand having the game you're playing and the exact same game with somebody else playing. Like that just makes my head explode.
So the thing that I see most about the majority of players that play Rocket League is they don't attempt to leave the ground very much at all. Other than Jocelyn's amazing ability to always be somewhere up on the wall or ceiling, which it's not easy. She pulls it off.
I work at it very, very hard.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's just her thing.
Yeah.
So, but as far as pointers and tips, definitely do the tutorials if you can.
Which I have yet to do because every single time I go to boot it up, it's because someone's like, let's play Rocket League. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely do the tutorials. Do the basic ones just to figure out the obvious stuff. Do the advanced ones, which are really challenging. But the biggest thing that I would definitely say is make sure you do the advanced goalie training, because the advanced goalie training teaches you how to, on the spot, jump your car, angle it up, use the boost, and fly to different corners of the net that you're already in to block the ball. Once you learn how to jump and fly just on the spot, you can start doing it more on the go and getting those
You can
really
jump
nice...
and fly on the spot? Damn it.
You can jump and fly on the spot.
I totally thought I needed to take like a running jump at that. That's why I'm so bad.
But yeah, so learning how to fly in that game will change your entire world when it comes to Rocket League. If you can get into a match with 3 or 4 people and don't even care about what's going on, don't chase the ball, don't do anything on the ground, just go get your max boost and fly and just have some fun with it. Once you get used to flying, the game is significantly different and you can cut off balls that sorry, you can intercept plays where if the ball was just going to fall to the ground, that's where everyone is sitting waiting for it to land. You can be the first one to get it in the air, and then it gives you full control. and we'll try to ignore the ball jokes as much as possible.
I love Joce in the chat room. They call Joce the Rocket League Black Widow. She hides in the corners and strikes with a vengeance. That's pretty much exactly what happens. I just hide up on the wall and then come out of nowhere. And they're like, she hasn't done anything all game. What the hell? Yep.
Yeah, Jim just pointed out that I've got 24 hours on PC and all the time on PS4. I'm pretty sure the only trophy that I don't have in either place is drive 500 miles because I'm usually flying. So.
Oh, so it doesn't count when you're up in the air?
I don't think it does.
Ah, I see. I should try to see if I have that achievement because I spend all my time on the ground or walls, but I'm definitely on my wheels anyway. So.
There is an achievement for wall crawling.
Yes, I have that.
You got
one.
that. I was probably the first one that you got.
It really was. I remember it popping up and going, oh, there's achievements in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just quickly, Leo in the chat room did point out we haven't talked about Warcraft yet. The big announcement for what the expansion is going to be is tomorrow, but they did have Blizzard's earning call yesterday. And it was revealed that Warcraft is actually down to 5.6 million subscribers, which is somewhere in and around Burning Crusade numbers, which is not so hot. So
it's abysmal.
Come
on, people. If you're not signed up for World of Warcraft like me, let's go online right now and sign up. Fix those numbers.
Exactly. And this is really interesting because they had actually introduced the token, which was the thing where you could grind gold and buy the token on the auction house. And the token was bought by other players with real money. So it was essentially a way to buy gold without actually, buying gold. And so the token gave you 1 month of free WoW time.
Oh, so they did that in EVE as well, or they've had that in EVE for a really long time.
Yeah, and WildStar has something similar, and I feel like ESO has something similar, I think. They've all moved to free-to-play models, but there are, kind of perks for people who are subscribed, and so you can grind out your subscription. But, I was a little bit surprised. I mean, it's at like half of what it was when Warlords launched, so when Warlords launched, they were up over 10 million. Then the last quarter, we were down to 7 something. And now we're down to 5.6. So, I mean, like huge drops. And I'm, not technically one of those people. I'm one of the people that keeps my subscription going, even though I'm not actually playing the game. But I've probably played a total of 2 hours since 6.2 dropped. And that was like a month and a half ago, maybe? Yeah. So for me, that it was totally Ashran. The changes to Ashran is what killed it for me because I was PvPing like a crazy person for a really long time. And
kill the pandas.
Yeah, kill all the pandas. But now I don't really have anything to do. I feel like I'm too far behind in anything else. Like I never finished the very first raid. Actually, that's a lie. I finished the very first raid once in an AIE-led LFR. So technically we were in LFR, but I think we had 24 of the 25 people or something like that. So it wasn't like actual LFR. So I'm one of the people that, used to be rah, 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 wow, and now I'm kind of just not. And it's really unfortunate, but I mean, I'm still being counted in those 5.6, so I'd be really interested to see, not necessarily, I mean, clearly what Blizzard cares about in the earnings call is how many people are giving us dollars, but I'd be really interested to see, like, what actual, like, server population numbers are looking like how many concurrent WoW players do we actually have at any given time? Not that they're going to tell us that, but I would find it very interesting.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see more than probably 2 million concurrent.
I would say so.
Like that's probably even a high number.
Yeah.
Because it's a global count, right? So you're going to have all the North Americans playing at a totally different time than Europeans or Australians.
True.
Yeah, it's hard to say. But I'm sure that probably 30 to 40% of that number is someone just like yourself. You've got an active subscription, but you're not really using it.
Yeah. And I've seen a bunch of people too saying that, like the Warlords really fell off for them, but they like got an annual subscription in, September, October, November leading up to the launch of Warlords. So technically, again, they paid or are paying for their annual subscription, but they're not using it at all. So it's interesting. I mean, I didn't really think that Warcraft would drop like that. But at the same time, they've completely diversified. They don't need Warcraft. Like, they're not the company of World of Warcraft anymore. You know, they've got Hearthstone, they've got Heroes. When Overwatch launches, oh my God, the dollars they're going to rake in from Overwatch. Like, they're getting to the point where they have something for everyone that's very digestible. There's small pieces of content, and there's ways to pay above and beyond what you would. I mean, God, the money I've poured into Hearthstone, if Hearthstone was a $60 game with a $20 a month subscription, I've probably paid that 10 times over with the amount of money I've thrown at Blizzard over Hearthstone. So, I mean...
And let's all remember, Hearthstone is a free game.
Exactly. And
you can get everything in the game. Actually, no, you can't get everything because there's the expansions, right?
Right.
Or are those two?
Yeah, so the adventures are you pay again, but yeah, it's definitely a different model. They don't need Warcraft to fund everything else like they used to, because these games are holding their own and going above and beyond and are super popular. So yeah, the whole Warcraft, I mean, it is also a 10-year-old game, even though we did get the graphics updates in Warlords. It's still a 10-year-old game. So it's a huge investment for Blizzard to create more Warcraft content. Because if you just look at building, like, say, one new zone in Warcraft, you've got, you know, all the quest givers, you've got all the environments, you've got all the textures, you've got to make sure that, like, everything, all your animations are done and there's continuity and there's no bugs, versus 130 cards in Hearthstone. You have to have, you know, like 130 graphic elements, but they don't have to be 3D. They don't have to move. They, like, even the animations aren't actually like animated. They're just a very short GIF-like loop. I mean, you do have to test out card interactions and, you know, do bug testing like that, but that's nothing compared to, say, class balance in Warcraft, you know, a 25-man mythic raid on a boss, or, you know, like a 10-player battleground. Like, these are huge things that you have to build and take a lot of investment. Why would you do that versus, you know, putting out another Hearthstone expansion or working on Overwatch? Like, it just... These big, huge MMOs are getting more and more complicated and harder to develop, and the rewards just aren't there. The interest isn't there anymore. Like, I see people who haven't touched WoW, who, like me, still have a subscription going, but used to be in WoW all the time, and now they're in Heroes constantly. And I'm just like, holy crap, like, the amount of time it takes to make a new hero in Heroes, nothing compared to doing more in Warcraft. I don't know, Matt, what do you think? Am I way off base here?
No, I'm guilty myself. You might be able to see right about here is an unopened, still sealed collector's edition Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward box.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something along the lines of a collector's edition of Warcraft, and then I was going to come tackle you for the battle pet.
No, so I was really big time into Final Fantasy XIV. I actually started playing Final Fantasy XIV the first time it was launched in like 2010, and I built up my empire of cloth crafting, and everyone always came to me to make all of their stuff, and I was one of the richest people in the entire game. And then I stopped playing because that was the first launch and it was terrible. But my character kept all of his money, and then when they relaunched the game for A Realm Reborn a couple years ago, I hopped back in, ended up playing with a guild that was really big in old Warcraft raiding. It's called Death and Taxes. So I was in their Final Fantasy wing, and we were pulling off world firsts, North American firsts, obviously all kinds of really hard progressive rating was with my group specifically, and then it just kind of got old.
Yeah, and one thing that's being mentioned in the chat room as well is that just the population of Warcraft has changed, because 10 years ago, I mean, I would have been 20-ish. We'll say ish. So, I mean, at 20, I didn't have a whole lot to do. I mean, I was in university, but let's face it, nobody actually goes to class. So as like a university student, I would have just been sitting playing Warcraft. Obviously, this is a fictional Jocelyn who actually played multiplayer games, but still, point stands. No, you know, not married, no kids, still not married, still no kids, but still, like, people's lives have evolved. I know, for instance, Scott, who does the instance, you know, like he's had kids and they've, you know, they're growing up, and then now he's freelancing and he's crazy busy. And not everybody now has the time, as careers have evolved and families have evolved, to spend doing Warcrafty things. So they've kind of really stuck to the same model and not paid attention to their demographics, which have shifted a lot in 10 years. So
Right. And that's our generation, but there's also the replacing generation that is, following up with us. But
they
depending on
grew up
how
on
far back,
Minecraft.
right, depending on how far back you want to go, the majority of them are either Minecraft or mobile players, which don't give a shit about subscriptions and grinding your character and doing raids every single week over and over and over again just to get the best loot. It's very, very different gaming mindset. So you're going to see that either, like you said, the game's going to have to evolve, or it's just going to slowly die with us old, boring gamers with responsibilities now.
Gamers with responsibilities. Worst
Yeah,
guild
yeah.
name ever.
Least accomplishments ever.
So yeah, I think I'm interested to see what they announce tomorrow, and more interested than anything else to know when we're going to get it. I don't know if we'll get a release date. We probably won't. In general, they give us the kind of overview, a trailer, you know, like, yay, this is the Warcraft you're getting soon TM, but we don't usually get a release date. So it would be odd if we actually got a release date of the expansion. But we can always hope. Cross your fingers. But I don't know. Warcraft, I just got into you. Can we please be interesting and have all my friends still want to play for at least one more expansion? Please? That would
Probably
be so
not.
good. Probably not. So before we end the show, I just wanted to remind everybody that if you want to show off your TGI pride, you can head on over to /loot.com. That's SLASH loot.com, and grab yourself a Gamers In t-shirt. They have tons of other awesome shirts, including all your favorite podcasts like Azeroth Roundtable, Torn Think Tank, Zombies Ate My Podcast, and The Angry Chicken. So go to /loot.com and show off your podcast pride. This week, we wanted to thank Will G, who is our patron of the week this week. If you'd like to be a patron of the Gamers In, you can do so by going to patreon.com/thegamersin. We are very, very close to our Game of the Month goal. So if you would like to donate to that, that would be very helpful. And then you guys get to tell us what we're going to play and what we're going to review, which, yay, super fun. Also, we have game night tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to be playing, but I do know that Ryan is going to be back. So we're all back from vacation and ready to go. Probably play some Rocket League, but who knows? And I have it on PC now, thanks to the wonderful guy to my left over there. So I do actually have it on PC, so you guys will be able to actually see a stream, because for whatever reason, streaming from my PlayStation doesn't want to work. So you'll be able to watch if we play Rocket League. So if you haven't picked it up, check it out on Steam. But yeah, the patrons will decide. So check it out, patreon.com/thegamersin, and look for that post. I'm going to put it up right after the episode. I think that's pretty much it. If you'd like to... Actually, before I tell them where they can find everything with the show, Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me on Rocket League. I saw actually during this show, because for the first time ever, my Twitter handle is visible somewhere. And I've been getting a little bit of flack lately for, I don't know why, but I guess you're supposed to, when you have a Twitter handle, actually tweet, I think is the term that people throw around these days.
Yes, you need to tweet on the tweeters.
Right. So technically you can find me at Mr. Kearney. However, there haven't been many tweets in the last 5 years.
Yes, I do believe 2010 was the last time you tweeted.
Yeah.
And I want to say that's like 1,804 days ago, I think somebody posted. So
Somebody mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah.
I do see the mentions. My phone has been exploding lately now that Jocelyn has been tagging me in things, and apparently Jocelyn has like 800 million followers. So yeah, so I've been getting a lot of email notifications. I should probably figure out how to fix that. But no, I'm on Steam at Ping Pong Pete, because that's easy to remember with my name being Matt. And same with PlayStation Network. But other than that, if you really want to follow me on at Mr. Kearney, feel free. I'm trying to hold out as long as possible before a single tweet is twoted.
I really want to know. There's going to be so much pressure on that tweet now. I'm sure it's going to be something like, hi.
I'm curious to know if I can keep gaining followers without ever using it.
Ah,
We'll see.
interesting
See.
experiment.
Yeah.
You're also Ping Pong Pete on Twitch, correct? So do you do any streaming?
Not really, not right now, but we'll see.
I see.
There's some possible plans. I've got some ideas.
Interesting.
Nothing yet.
All right then. So yeah, find Matt all over the place doing nothing apparently.
That's me.
If you'd like to find us, you can visit us on the web at gamersinpodcast.com. You can also find us on AMove TV along with other fabulous podcasts, including Startcast, Into the Nexus, and The Angry Chicken. I just realized we're like the only non-Blizzard podcast on the AMove network. Huzzah. You can follow us on Twitter. You can find me, Jocelyn, at GISGamer. Ryan is at R. Murphy. And don't forget to follow the show at The Gamers Inn. The video versions of all our episodes are actually going to move. Breaking news, people.
What?
You can now find us on youtube.com/amovetv. So all of the videos, if you're subscribed to my channel, they'll still be uploaded to Jocelyn Moffat. But you'll actually be able to find the playlist on AMove TV. So if you want it, that's where everything's going to be. So all your Starcast, all your Angry Chicken, all your Into the Nexus, all of the archives of things like AMove Radio and not Azeroth Roundtable, but there was something about a roundtable, Campaign Roundtable. All of that stuff is going to be available for you on youtube.com/amovetv. So that is the best place to find all of your AMove show archives. If you'd like to find the show on Facebook or Google+, we are also over there if you just search for The Gamers Inn. If you'd like to email the show and let us know what you thought about Nerdtacular, GenCon, GamesCom, or anything to do with Blizzard, really, because we talked a whole lot about Blizzard games today, you can email the show at info@gamersinpodcast.com. So thanks for staying at The Gamers Inn, everyone, and tune in next week. See ya.
Bye.